Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about some of, not my most embarrassing stories, but some of my most embarrassing stories. Maybe I'll do another video where I can get deeper into the details of them, or some of my worst stories. I have a lot, believe it or not. First off, everybody knows that I am a fairly shy person. I was on Twitter the other day and I was thinking about what happened to me that like made me shy. Like there had to be something, because there is a huge part of me that does not want to be shy. I started thinking back and I actually tweeted about the first one, so some of you may already know it, but here we go. I have my list here of all of my most embarrassing moments, and I'm going to be sharing quite a few of them with you. So the first one I can think of, I was like maybe like 2 or 3 years old. I don't know why I can remember that far back, but I just can. I have a really vivid memory of my childhood. I was like 2 or 3 years old. It was like Sunday night dinner after church or something, and the entire family was there, or it was a birthday party, because like my whole family gathers for birthday parties. There was just a lot of people there, and I was in my high chair by the dinner table. Everybody's talking, and I don't even remember what I said or what everyone was talking about, but I felt like I could, you know, jump in the conversation too. I said something and everybody just went quiet. And the moment everybody went quiet, I was like, oh God, what is happening? And then out of nowhere, like 2 seconds later, the whole room just burst into like loud laughter. Everyone is laughing so loud. Like it was something so dumb, but it scared me. It scared me as a little baby. So I literally like slid out from underneath my high chair and ran into a different room and like hid under a table. Yeah, that's really all I remember. I'm sure one of my tias came in and like got me and comforted me, but I really don't remember what it was about or what happened. But yeah, that was like my very first embarrassing moment that kind of like triggered me to be shy, because all I could think of was like this could never happen again. Like I'm never gonna go through this again. But sure enough, there were plenty more moments of embarrassment. Another one I also tweeted about, I was in pre-K, so I was 4 years old. I went to a private preschool, so it was like connected to a church. We were sent home with a project to do. We had to create a little mask, a lamb mask with like cotton balls, and we held it up with a popsicle stick, and we got to decorate it however we wanted. Mine was super glittery, of course, covered in glitter. And I was so excited. My mom bought a special dress for me to wear for the performance. It was my first ever performance for anything. And I was really looking forward to it. You wouldn't think, because I was still, even at that age, like I was still shy, but I was excited to do something like that. Yeah, so we do the whole performance. I'm up there, I feel great, and I get off the stage, my dad gives me some flowers, everybody's complimenting my dress, and we get home and my dad shows me the video, and everybody else is like taking and putting up their mask when they're supposed to, and there was like 2 times in the whole performance where I was just standing there singing, like, you know, grooving with my mask up. I know that's something silly, and you know, but I was 4 years old and I was absolutely mortified that I was up there on stage, the only one doing something wrong, and I had no idea. Those are my like very first 2 memories of being embarrassed. I have more, and I tweeted about those already, so you might already know those. So now we're gonna jump into the juicier stuff of when I was a little older. All right, the next one I can think of, I was in 3rd grade, and every state, you know, when you go to public school, has a standardized state test that you have to take to pass on to the next grade, or determine what kind of classes you'll take in the next grade. In Florida, it's called the FCAT, and 3rd grade is your first year to take it. I was actually excited. I was always excited for bigger things when I was younger, and now I'm always super anxious about them, but I wonder why with all these stories. So I go in to take my test the first day. I felt really weird that morning, like really sick, like nauseous, and I wasn't nervous. I knew it wasn't like that. I didn't know what anxiety was then, but I was telling my teacher, and my poor teacher, she believed me. She could tell that there was something wrong, that I was not feeling well, and I kept telling her, like, I feel like really sick. I feel like I need to go to the nurse. Like, I don't know what's wrong. She believed me. She sent me to the nurse probably 3 or 4 times, and every time I went to the nurse, she would just check my temperature and tell me I was fine, because I wasn't running a fever. She would just check my temperature, tell me I was fine, and send me back to class, and told me I was just trying to get out of taking the FCAT and that I was just nervous. So after the final time I go back to class, my teacher, I could hear her talking on the phone with another teacher about it, saying that I really don't think she's well, but they keep sending her back. She told the rest of the class to use the the classroom next to us is bathroom, because she knew that something wasn't right, which was really, really awesome of her, just in case I needed to go and get sick. I hadn't yet. Lo and behold, we are 5 minutes into the test. I get up, I feel something coming, I just drop my pencil and get up, and I'm literally 6 feet away from the bathroom, and I threw up in front of everyone. Really, really bad vomiting in front of everyone. I can't believe that much came out of like my little body. And I could hear her like saying, Devyn, come on baby, you can make it, go to the bathroom, because I was still throwing up. Like, it was really bad. I don't really remember anything in between that. All I remember is waiting in the nurse's office and the nurse kind of throwing some sarcastic jokes at me, like, oh, she didn't really say sorry. My mom came and picked me up. Turns out I had a really bad stomach virus. I was throwing up every 10-15 minutes for like 2 days. My mom couldn't leave me at home. She had to come back to school to pick up the rest of my siblings. So she took me in the back of the car with her in the carpool line. The nurse was actually the one with the megaphone calling out the numbers for kids to go to get picked up by their parents. And she recognized my mom and she asked how I was doing, and she was like, she's throwing up every 10 to 15 minutes. And then the nurse I remember seeing her face just go, ooh, and then that's all I remember. I just remember throwing up in the car one more time and went home, and then eventually got better, went back and retook my test. Pretty humiliating to throw up in front of everyone. Hear some of my classmates saying that I was faking it and pretending, and that some teachers not even believing me, but it made me feel okay because my teacher actually believed me. She was like a great teacher. I'll never forget her. So moving on to the next story. I think I was in 2nd grade, so we're gonna go back a year. We were doing a bunch of like activities during the day in class. It was like in 2nd or 3rd grade, I don't remember which. I had to go to the bathroom really, really bad. I had to pee so bad, but I didn't want to miss out on anything, so I kept holding it. My teacher at one point, when I really, really had to go, she had stopped everybody from being allowed to go to the bathroom, because I guess a lot of kids were trying to get out of what we were doing. Finally, she started letting people go to the bathroom. I was like 3rd or 4th in line, and I was standing there waiting to go. I finally get my turn into the bathroom. I'm starting to, you know, get ready to sit on the toilet and finally pee, and I could not hold it any longer, and I just peed everywhere right before I got on the toilet. I immediately started crying because I was like, what the heck do I do? Because there was a line of like 5 other kids waiting to use the bathroom behind me. I just opened the door and was like crying, looking at all my classmates, and they're like, what's wrong? Devyn, what's wrong? My teacher came over, called the nurse. They called somebody down to the class and brought me some clothes, and I got a change of clothes, and then I just went back to class like normal. I don't remember anybody really making fun of me for it. I think I don't really remember anything after that. I just remember trying to pretend like it did not happen because I just peed my pants in front of the entire class. So moving on. This is actually, all this stuff is kind of like unsettling to talk about, like thinking about all the, thinking about my memories back then. Moving back forward to 5th grade, this one's a little juicier. I had a crush on a boy in my class, and I decided it would be a good idea to write him a little love note telling him that I liked him. I wrote it inside my diary, and my diary wasn't a like spiral notebook or anything. It was a like actual like book that you couldn't really tear the pages out of. And a diary I had previously, I did that a lot and it completely ruined it, so I wasn't trying to ruin this one too. So I asked my sister, because he would pass by her every morning before class and every day after class. I told her, hey, you should show him this note I wrote him, because I'm too nervous to give it to him or show it to him, so you should do it for me. And she goes, okay, yeah, I can do that. So it turns out he was actually kind of in a rush to leave that day, and my sister ended up giving him my entire diary. This was on a Friday, so I didn't get it back until Monday. She came home and she told me, I gave him your old diary. He was trying to leave, but I didn't know what to do. And I was like, why would you do that? You were just supposed to show him my little note. I had a little breakdown after that, and then on Monday when he came to school, we actually sat in the same section in the classroom with our desks facing each other. We were unloading our backpacks to start class that morning, and he just, you know, plops my diary on my desk, and I just stare at him like, oh my god, this is like
This is the worst thing in the world.
And he just looks at me and goes, I didn't read any of it. Come on, he was in 5th grade. You're a boy who knows I have a crush on you. Of course you read my whole diary. I was absolutely mortified that he handed it to me in front of everyone. But I mean, I didn't expect him to know any better. We were in 5th grade. We were 10 years old. I was so mortified to the point that me and my sister's teachers got involved and they thought my sister was being a bully to me. It was just a big thing. It eventually all got resolved. Yeah, it was never brought back up again. I think all of us just pretended like it never happened. But yeah, that was pretty humiliating for me. Okay, let's move on from that one. We're moving to 6th grade now. So when I was in 6th grade, my shyness had basically pretty much overcome me completely. You know, I was 11 years old when I was in 6th grade. We were starting to get more into, you know, doing bigger kid things, how to be a young adult. I was just not ready to. I was a shy little kid who was very sheltered and didn't know anything about anything. For my English class, we had to write essays for the first time and then present them and read them in front of the entire class. I looked at this like another performance in pre-K and I was absolutely terrified, and it was just really nerve-wracking for me to read something to a bunch of people I didn't know that already kind of made fun of me here and there, have them listen to my very first long paper I wrote myself. I was already really scared. My paper was about roller coasters, if I remember correctly. I get to the front of the class, it's my turn to read my paper, and I'm looking at everyone, all eyes are just on me, and I feel so like, I felt trapped almost. I felt like, okay, there's no way out of this. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. Everybody's gonna judge me, everybody's gonna make fun of my writing. As soon as I opened my mouth, my voice cracked. I just dropped into a little ball, immediately started crying. I just wanted to get out of there. My teacher walked over to me, she's like, what are you doing? Like, you should not be scared, you can do this. Made me stay up there, and then had another girl walk up and stand at the front of the class with me to read my paper. And I feel like that was a little more humiliating, but there was nothing I could do to get out of it. So I read my paper and then I went back to my desk and sat down. Everybody gave me a really big applause, which honestly made me feel even worse. I don't know, I didn't want it to be a big deal. Just really embarrassing. That same year was the first year I did tryouts for cheerleading. And I was in 6th grade, so I was on the JV cheerleading team, and we didn't really have, our middle school didn't have a football or basketball team or anything like that, but we did have a volleyball team. They had the cheerleaders cheer for volleyball. I cheered for the JV volleyball team, and after that was the varsity volleyball game. My parents couldn't come pick me up until about the time the varsity game was over, so I sat in the bleachers after that game with one of my friends and her family while they watched her sister play. I'm like on the 5th or 6th row of the bleachers, you know, the bleachers are full, it's a full audience. I'm just talking to my friend, and then I turn my head to watch the game, and out of nowhere I just see a big blue and gold volleyball coming straight for my face, and it just whacked me so hard in the face. I was just a random person in the audience, and I just hear everyone in the audience go, and I just remember my whole face heating up and tears starting to flood my face, and I had this big red welt on my face. It was the most embarrassing thing ever. I had all these adults asking me, oh my god, honey, are you okay? Let me see your nose. That was pretty humiliating. Of course that would happen to me. I'm that person that gets hit in the face with a ball at a game. Luckily, I haven't had another experience like that. Hopefully I never do again. Anyway, moving on. Also in middle school in 6th grade, I have a lot of middle school stories, but who doesn't? I had a little boyfriend. I was not allowed to date, so my parents did not know, but I had a boyfriend for about a week. In 6th grade was my first year in school that we had extracurricular activities such as like dances. So I was going to my first ever school dance as a 6th grader, and I was gonna meet my boyfriend there. I did my makeup and wore a cute outfit. I get there and I see all of our friends, and I go up to them. I was like, where's I want to see him. I can't wait to see him, blah, 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 blah. This is in a group of like 10 people. And one of the girls I was friends with comes up to me and she goes, Devyn says he doesn't like you anymore. I just looked at her like, what? You couldn't have like told me this, like, he couldn't have told me this before the dance, like you couldn't have told me this like in the bathroom. I just looked at her, and little emotional me, this was like my first heartbreak ever, went to the bathroom, started crying. Eventually I got over it and went out and had a good time. That was pretty embarrassing because I was talking about it in front of all my friends right when I got there, and then somebody just dropped the bomb on me like it was nothing. I think I have 2 more middle school ones. On the cheerleading team again, I'm a pretty petite girl. I was definitely underdeveloped compared to the other girls in my grade and in my school, and I was kind of self-conscious about that. There was a point that I was actually stuffing my bra. We were, you know, goofing around at cheerleading practice, and one of the meaner girls on the team noticed the toilet paper like sticking out of my shirt, and she just stops in the middle of practice and goes as loud as she could and touched it. She goes, "What's that?" And she's just like smiling at me, and I was like just in shock. My face just turned completely red. Ran to the bathroom and, you know, fixed it, stuffed it all back in. I came out and I just tried to cover up this lie that is from when I got kicked in the chest earlier at practice, and I put like a wet rag on my chest to make the pain feel better. Some pathetic story like that. I don't think anybody believed it. I didn't even, honestly wouldn't have believed it. I think that was the last time I actually stuffed my bra. That was pretty embarrassing. All right, moving on. More into high school, I had a lot more like, I guess, serious things happen. Some of them I don't really feel comfortable sharing yet, so maybe we'll get more into that into another video. I'll do like a part 2. So in high school, pretty much some of the most embarrassing things for me, being at practices and falling on people or falling during competitions, you know, that's pretty much it. So my last and final story was when I was a junior in high school and we had homecoming. I had been to homecoming every year prior to my junior year. I ended up not going my senior year because of my junior year experience. So basically my junior year faculty was trying to really like power down on the dress code and really enforce it. The way they decided to go about that was having the 2 vice principals stand outside the door where you handed your ticket that you bought the week before and judge only the girls on if their dress was appropriate or enough to go in. Here is a picture of me and my friends right before we left. Pretty much, I get up to the door, I'm the last one to get checked. My sister and my 2 friends make it in, and they tell me that my dress was too inappropriate. Again, here is a picture of my dress and my friends' dresses, and I was the only one who didn't get in. They told me I was not allowed to come inside to the dance even though I had already paid for my ticket. I bought my dress, I spent a couple hours getting ready with everyone. I was really upset, nothing I could do. They told me I would have to go home and change my dress and then they would let me in, which I wasn't gonna do that. You know, I spent like 60, 70 bucks on this dress. I spent a lot of time on my hair and my makeup. I did all my friends' hair and makeup. I was just like, I was not gonna do that. So I called my mom and she was furious, livid. She came down to the school in her loungewear and is talking to both vice principals about it, and she's like, what is so inappropriate about her dress? What sets her apart from, you know, the other girls? Everybody else is wearing a dress like this. You know, they just told her that the way that my dress fit my body was too provocative and too inappropriate, which just did not make sense at all. And she continued to, you know, judge other girls and let them in, and proceeds to let in 3 other girls with almost an identical dress to mine, walk straight through. My mom looked at her and goes, you know, what the heck is that? How is her dress different from these ones? Why wouldn't my daughter be allowed in there but my other daughter can? They just continued to, you know, stand by what they said, and I ended up not going inside. There was also another girl who wasn't allowed in from a different school that my mom was also sticking up for. She also had a strapless, you know, fitted dress on. She kind of was like, these girls should be allowed in. This isn't fair. That's not right. You're making them question their bodies and judge themselves to other girls. Literally, if anything's wrong in there, it's the staff's fault. They just kind of stood their ground and told my mom basically, you know, to go away, and we left. My mom sent a crazy angry email to the head principal. Funny enough, I did not end up going my senior year. There also ended up only being like 50 people in the gym because they were being so, you know, over the top about it. So a lot of people ended up not going the next year. Senior homecoming just basically kind of didn't happen. I remember a lot of the student council my senior year asking me specifically if I was gonna go this year, and I was like, nope, I am not gonna even give it a chance. So I didn't go. Also, for graduation, we also had a dress code to follow as well. And I wore a really pretty blue, like tunic kind of style dress, and here is a picture of that dress. It was a little short, but I had a slip underneath that I could pull down if anything. They were telling all the girls to open up their robes to be dress coded. I get to the vice principal who told me I wasn't allowed into homecoming the previous year because of my dress. I opened my robe, she took one look at it for 2 seconds, was like, you're good, go in. Like, did not even question me. So that was pretty awesome. But after I graduated, I have some friends who were in some grades lower than me that actually told me that there were some teachers who were pretty salty about my graduation dress. My dress was way too short. They can't believe I was allowed to walk with that dress. I don't even know how they would notice how short my dress was because my robe was zipped when we walked across the stage. I literally don't understand it. We weren't even in school anymore. But yeah, there were even teachers after I left school still talking, you know, crap about my dress. I wouldn't really say that was embarrassing. Mainly what just happened at homecoming, my junior year was really embarrassing. And then what happened senior year with my graduation dress and everything was kind of like a big, you know, haha, screw you. I think that's the last embarrassing story I'm gonna cover. Maybe you can relate to some of them. Trust me, I have plenty more, and I do have a lot of way worse ones, but I don't think I'm ready to share that. So I figured I'd share these little ones with you. And maybe I'll do a part 2 and share some even crazier stories. Just so you know, like, these things happen to everyone. Everybody has their little rough spots. It does not define you. Your embarrassing moments do not define you. Shit happens. I hope you got a kick out of this video. Maybe you can relate to some of my stories. I would love to hear some of your embarrassing moments, so go ahead and comment them in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel and turn my post notifications on so you know when I post. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.